1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Piris and read by Geethanjali Ramanayake. The headlines. The President stresses the importance of human resources being the primary catalyst for propelling the country towards progress. The Department of Examinations announced a date for the 2023 Grade 5 scholarship examination. The evaluation of 40 advanced level subjects commences. A new online passport application system to be launched today. The maximum retail price of 60 types of medicines to be reduced by 16%. Graduates to be recruited to the teacher service promptly to end the teacher shortage. International news. Greece boast disaster leaves at least 79 dead and hundreds missing. Sports World Cup qualifier, Sri Lanka to take on USA in a warm-up cricket match in Bulawayo. News in detail. During the first discussion of the expert committee appointed to support the Ministerial Committee for the National Education Policy Framework, President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized the crucial role of human resources in the development of any country. Drawing inspiration from the progress achieved by developed nations, the President stressed the importance of establishing a robust education system and cultivating a skilled workforce to accomplish the objectives of becoming a developed country by 2048. During the discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat on Wednesday, the President acknowledged the significance of aligning the country's human resources, enhancing the education system, and transforming the nation into a regional education hub. To facilitate this, the Education Ministerial Committee was formed, chaired by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and comprised of 10 members. Additionally, a subcommittee was appointed to support the reforms in 5 key areas, including early childhood education, primary and secondary education, higher education, vocational training, and information technology. Amidst the discussions, urgent amendments to the education system were extensively deliberated upon with a focus on equipping the future generation to overcoming upcoming challenges and build a skilled workforce. The Department of Examinations announced today that the 2023 Grade 5 scholarship examination will be held on Sunday, the 15th of October. Accordingly, applications for the exam will be accepted from the 15th of June to 6th of July. In a media release, the Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jayasundara, noted that the application should be submitted only through the online platform, which will be available until midnight on the 6th of July. The Commissioner emphasized the deadline to submit the application would not be extended under any circumstances. The instructions on submitting the applications can be found on the website of the Exam Information Center. The Department of Examinations has confirmed that the evaluation of answer scripts of 40 subjects, including the science stream subjects of the 2022 GCE Advanced Level Examination, will get underway today. The Examinations Department said paper evaluation will take place at 39 centers. Schools in 18 cities will be used for paper marking activities. Meanwhile, the department said the evaluation of answer scripts of the English medium students will begin under the next phase. The evaluation of answer script of the 2022 GCE Advanced Level Examination was delayed by over 2 months due to the trade union action launched by a group of university lecturers. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The maximum retail price of 60 types of medicines are scheduled to be reduced by 16% with effect from today. Minister of Health Keheliya Ramukwala is expected to issue the Gazette. Last week, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval to the proposal to reduce the maximum retail price of 60 types of medicine. The National Medicines Regulatory Authority, established under the National Medicines Regulatory Act No. 5 of 2015, is responsible for regulating all matters related to imposing prices of medicines. Minister Keheliya Ramukwala said the decision to reduce the price of medicine was taken considering the appreciation of the Sri Lankan rupee against the US dollar. The health minister noted that following extensive discussions with relevant authorities, the decision was taken to reduce the price of NMRA drugs that are regulated by a price control. The price revision will be applicable for 3 months. Education Minister Premchand says around 13,000 graduates will be recruited to the teacher service, aiming to end the teacher shortage promptly. The Education Minister further said that 5,500 graduate teachers will soon be absorbed to the teaching profession to teach in advanced level and ordinary level subjects. Besides, 7,500 education college pass-outs will also be given new teaching appointments tomorrow. The minister mentioned this information during a meeting held at the Ministry of Education. Minister Premchand said that 5,500 graduate teachers in all three mediums will soon be recruited from graduates under the age of 35 in teaching subjects such as science, mathematics, technology, language, geography and commerce. He noted that the school system cannot be developed only by complementing the human resource along the physical resources. And that ends local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The government will launch the new online passport application system today. Accordingly, the new system will be launched under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Home Government Divisional Secretariat. Under the new system, applicants will be able to receive the new passports within a span of 3 days. Immigration and Immigration Controller General Harsha Ilukpitiya said the online passport application system is being introduced as part of President Wickremesinghe's initiative to digitize public services. The Controller General confirmed that the new process aims to streamline the passport application process and ensure that passports are delivered to applicants' residences within a span of 3 days. To facilitate the efficient delivery of passports, 50 regional secretariats across the island have been equipped with the necessary facilities. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The Elections Commission, in a statement, urged the general public to contact their respective relevant Grama Niladhari's officers if he or she had not visited the premises for the enumeration of electors for 2023. Also, people are requested to visit the Elections Commission website at www.elections.gov.lk for further information. And that came to you in Watchlight. Now moving on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, Greece boat disaster leaves at least 79 dead and hundreds missing. US confirms top diplomat Blinken's long-anticipated China visit. More than 100,000 people evacuated as India and Pakistan braces for cyclone Biparjoy. At least 79 people have died and more than 100 have been rescued after their fishing vessel capsized off the coast of southern Greece. But survivors and Greek officials say that hundreds more migrants were on board. The government says this is one of Greece's biggest migrant tragedies and has declared 3 days of mourning. The boat went down about 80 kilometers southwest of Pylos shortly after the boat capsized, taking only 10 to 15 minutes to sink completely. A search and rescue operation was triggered out but complicated by strong winds. The United States has confirmed that top diplomat Antony Blinken will visit China this week, a long-anticipated trip that had been postponed in February amid increasingly fraught tensions between the two superpowers. Blinken will become the highest-ranking Biden administration to visit China on a trip that spans from the 16th to the 21st of June and will also include a visit to London, the Department of State said on Wednesday. The statement said in Beijing, Blinken will meet senior Chinese officials to discuss the importance of maintaining open lines of communication between the US and China. More than 100,000 people in India and Pakistan have been evacuated from the path of a fierce cyclone a day before it was expected landfall. Forecasters have warned that cyclone Biparjoy has been making its way across the Arabian Sea and is expected to first hit India's Gujarat state today late in the evening. At least 7 people have already died amid heavy rains in India. In Pakistan, the storm is expected to strike the coast of Sindh province. Authorities have already evacuated 62,000 people from the southeastern coast and set up 75 relief camps at schools. Back to the headlines of the world news. Greece boat disaster leaves at least 79 dead and hundreds missing. US confirms top diplomat Blinken's long-anticipated China visit. And more than 100,000 people evacuated as India and Pakistan brace for cyclone Biparjoy. And that ends World News.
Development News is brought to you by
Vacancies for women from Desha Sri Lanka for housemaids in Kuwait, Oman and Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 58 years. Contact number 037 7500 500.
In development news, the Korea International Cooperation Agency launched a $6.8 million modernization of National Plant Quarantine Service in Sri Lanka project this week. KOICA, Sri Lanka's office, is conducting a high-level invitational program in Korea with the Secretary to the Minister of Agriculture, Department of Agriculture and National Plant Quarantine Service. The project, Modernization of National Plant Quarantine Service in Sri Lanka, which granted $6.8 million, aims to enhance the export competitiveness of Sri Lankan agricultural products by improving plant quarantine capacity. The main outputs of this project will be strengthening the plant quarantine capacity, establishing a seaport plant quarantine station, supporting value chain development for agricultural export and expansion of Sri Lanka good agricultural practice, and an establishment of plant quarantine information management system. And that was development news.
Vacancies for women from Desha Sri Lanka for housekeepers, home cooks, caretakers and home nurses in Kuwait, Oman, Saudi Arabia and Singapore for ages 23 to 57 years. Salaries starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews with foreign agents are now on. Come whether you have a passport or not. Branches, Colombo, Kurunagala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 7500 500.
On to sports news. Sri Lanka will take on the United States in a warm-up game ahead of the 2023 ICC Cricket World Cup qualifier in Zimbabwe. The game is scheduled to get underway at 12:30 p.m. Sri Lanka time in Bulawayo. Earlier in the week, in a gripping warm-up match for the ICC qualifier, Sri Lanka emerged triumphant, defeating Netherlands by 3 wickets while chasing a target of 215 runs. Sri Lanka's bowlers restricted the Netherlands' batting lineup to 214 runs. In response, Sri Lanka's batsmen chased a target in 38 overs, securing a victory, losing 7 wickets. And more sports news for you. This time it's football. English Premier League club revenues have risen by 12% to a record £5.5 billion in the 2021-2022 seasons as European football capitalised on fans returning to stadiums after the COVID-19 pandemic, according to analysis from Deloitte. In its annual review of football finance, Deloitte Sports Business Group said the big 5 leagues in England, Spain, Germany, Italy and France had a combined 10% rise in revenues, with Spain's La Liga rising 11% to €3.3 billion, while France's Liga shot up 26% to €2 billion. Italy's Serie A was the only league of the 5 to record a decrease in revenue, falling 7% to €2.4 billion. And that was sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Thalawakale Tea Estate PLC, part of the Haley's plantation sector, has been recognized with a record number of 7 prestigious awards, including 4 gold, 2 silver and 1 bronze in the 8th Asia Integrated Reporting Awards and Asia Sustainability Reporting Awards. The AIRA and ASRA are considered the most distinguished accolades for integrated and sustainability reporting in the region. Thalawakale Tea Estate PLC won multiple categories of awards, validating their efforts to embed sustainability, enabling a measure performance using frameworks like GRI, IR and other climate-related accounting standards. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Bloomberg reported that Sri Lanka's economy likely shrank at a slower pace than last quarter, and rebound in tourism and some industrial activity were the bright spots in a country grappling with still elevated borrowing costs and higher taxes. According to a median estimate of economists in a Bloomberg survey, the gross domestic product probably contracted 8.9% in the 3 months to March from a year ago. That's better than 12.4% contraction in the previous quarter, the most in 2 years. Inflation has cooled for 4 straight months as a result, giving the Monetary Authority the space to unexpectedly cut its benchmark rate in June for the first time since July 2020 to support the nation's recovery. Sri Lanka's currency is one of the best performers so far this year with the influx of tourists and still elevated interest rates, but this may not be enough. And that was economic news.
Weather report.
The Department of Meteorology predicts several spells of showers in the western, Sabaragamuwa and northwestern provinces and in the Galle, Matra, Kandy and Nuwara districts. The Met Department added that showers or thunder showers are likely at a few places in the Uva and eastern provinces during the evening or night. Meanwhile, strong winds of about 40 to 45 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in the western slopes of the Central Hills, North Central, Northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. The general public has been requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. And that was the weather report, and prior to concluding this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The President stresses the importance of human resources being the primary catalyst of propelling the country towards progress. The Department of Examinations announced a date for the 2023 Grade 5 Scholarship Examination. The evaluation of 40 advanced level subjects commences. A new online passport application system to be launched today. The maximum retail price of 60 types of medicines to be reduced by 16%. Graduates to be recruited to the teacher service promptly to end the teacher shortage. International news, Greece boat disaster leaves at least 79 dead and hundreds missing. Sports, World Cup qualifier, Sri Lanka to take on USA in a warm-up game in Bulawayo. And with that we end this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.